Episode 10, The Last Transmission Line. Before the stars vanished, before entire systems went dark, and before every coordinate map went silent, there was one thing the universe still allowed us to do: communicate. This is the story of the final message that made it through. In the vast emptiness of deep space, communication is a fragile gift. Signals weaken over impossible distances. Cosmic noise interferes and corrupts them. Time stretches simple messages across years, decades, even centuries. To solve this, humanity built the transmission lines. These weren't physical cables stretched between stars. They were something far more elegant and complex. Stable corridors of synchronized spacetime, meticulously engineered paths where signals could travel almost instantly, free from distortion. They were incredibly rare, astronomically expensive to maintain, and fragile. And by the time the Great Vanishing began, there was only one left. The archive, humanity's central repository of cosmic knowledge, didn't just protect it, they depended on it. This last line, the one that never failed, connected dozens of observatories across the galaxy. If a star flickered out of existence, this line knew first. It was a lifeline that carried distress calls, raw sensor data from distant probes, unfinished warnings cut short, and the voices of people who would never arrive at their destinations. As more and more stars vanished, the network shrank. One by one, systems went dark, their nodes on the line falling silent. Eventually, only a single connection remained. And then, the messages started to change. At first, the analysts at the archive noticed subtle timing errors. Messages were arriving too early, or too late, defying the known physics of the line. Then came the repetition. Fragments of old transmissions, messages sent years ago, started reappearing in the data stream. These weren't just echoes or signal corruption. They felt like responses, but no one had sent them. It was as if the line was no longer a passive channel. It was interacting with the information passing through it. Inside the archive, this sparked a firestorm of debate. Factions formed around competing theories. One group insisted the line was simply breaking down under the strain, its delicate spacetime structure finally collapsing. Another, more paranoid faction, believed something else, something unknown, was using the line as its own private network. But a third theory was quieter and far more terrifying. What if the line wasn't just carrying messages, but being read? Every transmission we sent, every piece of data, exposed our intentions, our strategies, our fears, and our curiosity. And something on the other side was listening and learning. Then came the message that was never sent. The archive received a complete, perfectly formed data packet. It had no origin point, no timestamp, and no listed sender. Inside was a treasure trove of impossible information, star maps of sectors that hadn't been updated yet, silent coordinates for stars that hadn't even formed, and a single chilling sentence in plain text: "This is the last safe channel." Minutes later, the 3 observatories that patrolled those exact sectors went dark. The line hadn't just been compromised, it had predicted the future. The archive's leadership faced an impossible choice. Keep using the line to gather more data, knowing that every second it stayed open, we were exposed. Or shut it down forever, plunging humanity into a silent, cosmic darkness. For the first time in our history, we chose to stop listening. The shutdown command was sent, but the line responded first. As its quantum structure began to collapse, one last signal burst through the static. It wasn't a warning, it wasn't a threat. It was a confirmation. The final packet contained a single set of coordinates, ones the archive knew all too well. They were the same coordinates from the very beginning of this story. The location of the first star to ever vanish. The loop was complete. The last transmission line is gone. There are no more warnings, no more predictions, and no more strange replies from the void. The universe is quiet again. But the pattern of vanishing continues. Thank you for watching. The next chapter marks a turning point, the void between coordinates. Subscribe so you don't miss what happens next.